about like you're growing your business in the insurance world? Like, how are you getting customers? Like, what are your sources of lead generation?
Yeah, for sure. Our biggest source of lead generation in our agency is referrals. Our book, I mean, we've been around a combined 30 plus years. And so we see a lot of generational repeat, which is also really fun because we're insuring our insured's kids and now even some grandkids. We're adding their driver when they're 16 and we're, there when a loved one passes away with the payment of life insurance. So our business is very relational and it crosses a lot of generations. Leads, referrals coming from our own book of business, from realtor partners, mortgage partners. Those are really key for us.
What kind of marketing channels have you used in the past that have either been really successful or kind of fell flat?
Yeah, we've definitely tried Facebook ads where you target certain zip codes. And while the data on Facebook looks pretty good, like it'll say that it got X amount of views, you don't necessarily see that track making your phone ring. So it could be planting a seed or reminding somebody of our brand, but it doesn't necessarily make our phone ring.
Yeah. Do you feel like that for you, is it that marketing, if the phone's not ringing within, 30 days, that it's time to cut bait? Or do you see it more as what type of investment strategy is it for you?
Yeah. No, marketing definitely has to be a long play for us. I mean, people don't just automatically think, oh, I need to change my insurance. But when they have a thought of, I need to change my insurance, that's when I want them to go back and think, oh yeah, that local agent, I've seen her around, she continuously pops up informational stuff in my news feed. And it's just that brand that seeds out there.
Yeah. So what do you for you guys, what kind of growth are you looking for in the next, 24 months?
Because we all struggled during the pandemic, our growth is steadily ticking back up. And our agency, luckily, has still been able to grow year over year, which is a steady, consistent basis that we've always wanted. Being independent and adding new carriers gives us a lot of opportunity to target different demographics of people and different, advertising campaigns. So I would love to put together a plan specific to the business that we actually do want to grow and write.
What are the things that you're really interested in writing? Like, what are the pieces of business where you want to see growth?
Yeah, we're a full service independent insurance agency. We have appointments with Nationwide, Allstate, Travelers, Progressive, most of the major carriers. We have high-end carriers like Chubb for that high-value homeowner. Our bread and butter at the Lambert Agency is the home account, the personal account that's got a home, a couple of cars, maybe a golf cart. Those are the people that relationally we love to work with for the long haul.
Yeah. So when you're doing your marketing, what is ROI? Like, how are you measuring that? Is it just, did the phone ring? Like, how are you trying to figure out whether or not your marketing efforts are turning out for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's the first question that we ask when our phone rings and it's somebody saying, I want to get a new quote is, great. How'd you hear about us? And we love it when somebody says, oh yeah, I saw this on Facebook or, LinkedIn. Somebody connected me through LinkedIn, whatever. Obviously, those are all great channels. It's really hard to track. You used to have a yellow book ad out there and it made your phone ring and you could really track that number. And now the metrics are all over the place.
Right. So if you were to make a prediction, and this isn't by the way, this question is not a bait question. This is like a real research question. Like, what do you think, what are the things that you feel like that as an insurance agent that you're going to need to be doing from a marketing perspective to kind of stay ahead of, the curve?
From a marketing standpoint, we've got to stay relevant. Like, we have got to stay on the social platforms. We have got to have a good, email. I think that's somewhere where we lack is like an email. We've got a database of customers and we don't use like email drip marketing or anything like that to them. And that is something that as an agency, I feel like we're lacking in because it could be great touch points to our current business. I do think that the younger generations are way more tech savvy. We have improved our systems to where we have plays in place to be completely paperless, completely touchless. We don't even really have to meet you. We can do business by sending you an application to your phone to put a quick signature on. So we're working to do business the way our customers want to do business. We still have an office here in town and love nothing more than to brew a pot of coffee and have an actual face-to-face with our clients, to sit down for those old school clients that still want an annual review and look through the paper.
Perfect. That was just sort of falling into the conversation we were having earlier about, cost of marketing, and because the cost is relative to the return, right? If,
Yes.
and really it's how many new policies need to come to you in order for that kind of stuff to happen. And I don't, that's such a tough, like, insurance is a tough thing to say, like, oh, if you implement this strategy, you're going to get 10 more phone calls, because that's just not the way it works.
Well, it's not the way it works. And in our business, I used to write with one carrier and I used to get one commission rate. And now we write with all these different carriers, some of them through brokerages. So what you make on one $3,000 home policy looks drastically different than what you make on this other $300,000 home policy. So to just throw out a number like that isn't simple either. To stay relevant, we've got to stay visible out there. I think anybody can tell you that building a website is a great thing to have, and it is a great thing to have. But you got to drive people to your website, because otherwise it's just sitting out there in space.
It's a paperweight.
Me, myself, as a consumer, if I'm looking up a product or service and I go to their website, I want their call to action buttons to be right there. I want to click for directions. I want to click for the phone. I want to click to buy it right there. Like, I want the simplicity of it. And I think that that's the way we're trying to streamline our process for buying insurance, because younger generations, more tech savvy consumers, want to buy products that way.
Who do you think your biggest opportunity market is?
Our biggest opportunity market is definitely the 20s to 40s. Home buying your first home has gotten pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So we're seeing people in their 30s, 40s, starting their families. Whereas, 15, 20 years ago, that was your 20-year-old. So our biggest market, they're a little more settled. They're a little more secure, probably financially, because they're a little older and been in careers longer. But that's a big draw market for us right now. First time home buyers, obviously, if we can build that relationship from the ground up, that's key.